take these down, or like? I wasn't at the initial one where we like agreed to sign up to come to them, and we have a policy, like Old Room Power is a policy, like we don't do something unless like 3 people can commit.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I wasn't there. You can take a print if you want. They probably will take like a few minutes to dry. The ones right over there might actually already be dry.
Fuck your tear gas!
Fuck your tear gas!
Fuck your tear gas!
FTP! Fuck the police! FTP!
Fuck the police!
FTP!
Fuck the police!
FTP!
Fuck the police! Fuck your tear gas! Fuck your tear gas!
Fuck your tear gas! Fuck your tear gas!
FTP!
Fuck the police!
FTP!
Fuck the police! Fuck the police! Fuck the police!
Fuck your tear gas!
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 FTP!
Fuck the police!
FTP!
Fuck the police!
FTP!
Fuck the police!
FTP!
Fuck the police! Hey, ho, ho!
Warren Kanders got to go!
Hey, ho, ho!
Warren Kanders got to go!
Hey, ho, ho! Warren Kanders got to go! Hey, ho, ho!
So a train came from East New York,
Train came from East New York!
and we're happy you're here.
We're happy you're here!
We're putting pressure
We're putting pressure
on the Whitney
on the Whitney
to remove Warren Kanders.
Warren Kanders!
We want to acknowledge
We want to acknowledge
that these pigs
that these pigs
just arrested one of our friends,
just arrested one of our friends,
and that the board member
and that the board member
sells to them their shields, their tear gas, and more. This shit's connected.
This shit's connected!
Right now we're going to hear from groups
Right now we're gonna hear from groups
Report back from Shelly before.
making the connections.
making the connections!
How does that sound? But before we do that,
Before we do that,
a quick report back
quick report back
from the train.
from the train!
Hello!
Hello!
Good afternoon!
Good afternoon!
Welcome!
Welcome!
You're with family!
You're with
You're
family!
with people who care!
You're with people who care!
So, we started our stop
We started our
at
stop
Euclid Avenue
at Euclid Avenue
in East New York.
in East New York.
Before we started,
We
had police officers confront us
had police officers confront us
because our balloons were so scary
because our balloons were so scary
that they felt threatened.
that they felt threatened.
They asked us where we were headed.
They asked us where we were headed.
They knew we were coming here
They knew we were coming here
because we are all being surveilled.
because we're all being surveilled.
Because we live in a surveillance state.
Because we live in a surveillance state.
Just like the surveillance states
Just like the surveillance state
in Palestine,
in Palestine,
in Kashmir,
in Kashmir,
Standing Rock,
in Standing Rock,
in Ferguson,
in Ferguson,
in the Bronx,
in the Bronx,
in Brooklyn,
in Brooklyn,
in Queens.
in Queens.
So, when we got on the train,
We got on the train.
the police told us
The police told us
there will be a stop, a car away from us.
stop a car away
I'm
from
in the
us.
car, y'all know what I mean. So, what they did instead was
What they did instead was
follow us onto the train,
follow us onto the train.
and as we started,
And as we started,
celebrated.
and celebrated
And gave flowers to children.
and gave flowers to children
And made many people smile.
and made many people smile.
They stopped the train car
They stopped the train car
and told us
and told us
they would not allow the train to leave
they would not allow the train to
unless we
leave
stopped,
unless we stopped,
including turning off our music,
including turning off our
which we
music,
know is bullshit,
which was bullshit,
on the MTA.
on the MTA.
So what they did was
What they did was
tear our posters down,
tear our posters down,
scare babies,
scare babies,
try to intimidate us,
try to intimidate us,
and instead we decided, fuck you.
fuck you,
We will continue.
we will continue.
Because liberation does not stop for you.
Because liberation does not stop for you.
Because you are a tool
You are a tool
of people like
of people like
Warren Kanders,
Warren Kanders.
right?
Malaysia.
Which banner?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about.
Okay, all right. So, long story. So, what happened was, they tried to stop us.
They tried to stop us.
Decided to continue. Despite them taking up space.
Despite them taking up
Despite
space.
them discouraging people from engaging with us.
Despite them discouraging people from engaging with us.
And as our people got on the stops,
And as our people got on the stop,
they realized they were outnumbered.
they realized they were outnumbered.
They realized they could not stop us.
They realized they could not stop us.
And then at J Street,
At J Street,
Cop Watch got on the train.
Cop Watch got on the train.
And they all left.
And they all left.
Period.
Period.
Because they know
Because they know
we control these streets.
we control these streets.
We control these streets.
We control these streets.
This is our MTA.
This is our MTA.
Our museum.
Our
This
museum.
is our New York City.
Our New York
And you
City.
will not intimidate us
They will not intimidate us
outside of our spaces.
outside of our spaces.
In spaces that excuse me, I'm getting upset. In spaces that our ancestors built.
In spaces that our ancestors built.
In spaces that our people shed blood for.
In spaces that our people shed blood
We will
for.
not be moved.
We will not be moved.
What we did was
What we did was
connect
connect
the hyper-policing of our communities
the hyper-policing of our communities
with the mass social cleansing of our communities.
with the mass social cleansing of our communities.
Because we know
Because we know
the police
the police
are in the hands
are in the hands
of real estate,
of real
of
estate
developers,
developers,
of armed dealers.
armed dealers.
Sorry, I'm getting upset. As we continued on the train,
As we continue on the train,
the police left,
the police left.
the community realized
The community
that
realized
what we were doing was important.
what we were doing was important.
People engaged with us.
People engaged with us.
People shared smiles with us.
People shared smiles with us.
People supported us
People supported us
because they saw
because they saw
that our power
that our power
cannot be stopped
cannot be stopped
so long as we are collective.
as long as we are collective.
So long as working class, black and brown people are together.
As long as working class, black and brown people are together.
We will never be stopped.
We will never be stopped.
There are more of us.
There are more of us.
Our power is infinite.
Our power is infinite.
On our way out of the train,
On our way out of the train,
they snatched our friends,
they snatched our friends.
and with Cop Watch and support, the police brought a large squad
Brought a large squad
and tried to
and tried to
take our friends
take our friends
without, sorry, train. Probable cause. Community. So we decided
We
to
decided
take the fucking street
to take the fucking street
and let them know
and let them know
they will not get away with this.
they will not get away with this.
We stopped traffic,
We stopped
we
traffic,
fucked up their flow,
we fucked up their flow,
and now they're mad.
and now they're mad.
But guess what?
Guess what?
They can stay stay fucking mad.
They can stay fucking mad.
Because fuck the police.
Because fuck the police.
All day,
All day.
every day.
Every day.
So we're here.
We're here
to make the connection.
to make the connection.
We want Warren Kanders
We want Warren Kanders
off the board of the Whitney.
off the board of the Whitney.
Because the Whitney profits from pay.
Because the Whitney profits from pay.
No one wants us to be an expert protester. Everyone just wants to live his or her own life. And so does my father. He had something to say on that day as a farmer, demanding that the president keep her promise. Why on November 14th did the police attack the protesters like that? I hope that people won't forget this incident and will pay attention so that something like this won't ever happen again. On November 14, 2015, 69-year-old farmer Pick Namgi was at a people's rally in Seoul, where he was knocked to the ground, left unconscious by a police-operated water cannon containing a liquid form of tear gas. Mr. Peck was a farmer and a movement maker who was part of the farmers' movement in the 1980s. In 2015, he joined the anti-government demonstrations. In Seoul, frustrated by the then President Park Geun-hye for not keeping her promise of raising the purchase price for rice. In a video, Mr. Peck is knocked to the ground by a frothing police cannon that is clearly not made of just water, surrounded by protesters wearing ponchos and simple medical masks in attempts to protect themselves from the water cannons being fired by the police. After being knocked down, his body slides several feet from the pressure of the cannon unconscious as fellow protesters scramble to move him away from the blast of the water. The worst part is, the water cannons can be accurately aimed, and the police officer who was operating the cannon continued to aim it at Mr. Peck and the people who were trying to help move Mr. Peck's unconscious body from the reach of the blast. The doctor said my father will be unconscious until he dies. Mr. Peck never woke up. After spending 10 months in a coma, he died in the hospital in September 2016. The police officer who had operated the water cannon that killed Mr. Peck claimed he was not trained until the day before on how to use it. No officers were ever held accountable for Peck Nam-ki's killing. South Korea to Palestine.
South Korea to Palestine.
Using tear gas is a crime.
Using tear gas is a crime.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
The use of water cannons laced with liquid tear gas in South Korea during the 2015 candlelight protests that led to the impeachment of the president at the time, Park Geun-hye, is a warning sign, warning us that while we are calling out Safariland CEO for his role in manufacturing tear gas used at the border to block the entry of migrants fleeing violence that is manufactured by the U.S. government, again, we are calling out Board Vice Chair Warren Kanders of the Whitney Museum, also Safariland CEO, for his role in manufacturing tear gas that is used at the U.S.-Mexico border to block the entry of migrants fleeing violence that is manufactured by the U.S. government. We are here to make it known that we, the people, students, social workers, artists, veterans, queers, youth, elders, we are here because we demand the demilitarization of the Whitney Museum. From the belly of the beast,
From the belly of the beast,
no justice, no peace.
No justice, no peace.
No, 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 no.
No, 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 no.
No, 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 no.
No, 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 no.
I'm speaking on behalf of No New Jails NYC. A coalition that opposes Mayor de Blasio's plan to expand jail construction in New York City by building 4 new jails in every borough except Staten Island under the false guise of being friendly neighborhood justice hubs. The testimonies you just heard were responses to a call put out in the Abolitionist prison newsletter in 2013, asking incarcerated folks to share their experiences with tear gas or other chemical substances while inside. It is in solidarity with these folks and all those under attack by the anti-black, militarized arms of the state that No New Jail stands with you all at the Whitney here today. We're here to say, 1, all jails and prisons are inhumane, and anyone investing in them is investing in white supremacist colonial violence. As we heard from the painful testimonies and powerful analyses from folks behind the walls, tear gas and its chemical counterparts are a visible and heinous tool of warfare on incarcerated people. We must say no to any new jails. No! We know that all jails are inhumane, and expanding jails to our community won't make them safe. And we know if they build it, they will fill it. Say it with me. If they build it,
They will fill it.
if they build it,
They will fill it.
if they build it.
They will fill it.
Second, No New Jails knows that this kind of carceral violence doesn't start or end inside prisons and jails, and neither does Kanders' investment. The same police that use Safari-Land's tear gas to silence, intimidate, and brutalize our people in the streets, from Ferguson, Missouri to Seoul, Korea, is the same police that criminalizes and murders our people, putting poor, disabled, houseless, black, queer, and trans folks at high risk.
Talk about it.
Third, de Blasio's jail expansion plan, including the expansion of the historically violent jail to Tubes right down the street in Chinatown, is a clear refusal to listen to what communities say they need. From Kanders to money-hungry real estate ventures, from policing to creative class-led gentrification, the Whitney and de Blasio continue to prioritize profit above people and ignore community demands. So, to Adam Weinberg and to de Blasio, we demand you stop profiting off people's pain. We demand you remove Warren Kanders from your board, and while you're at it, why don't you remove Nancy Carrington's crown too? We call you to move the money from the biennial, move the money from jails, and put it toward community-led solutions. Fuck $11 billion invested in jails. Instead, invest it in affordable housing, in education, in employment, in community-based mental and physical health services, in healing and safety and transformative accountability. We're here today as diaspora, with ties to places around the world impacted by war and militarism. And we are here today to stand with our people who refuse to be smothered by the suffocating fumes of state violence and continue to breathe life into collectively imagined futures. We commit to building these futures together, futures that are firmly and dynamically abolitionist, demilitarized, degentrified,